Um, I'm really excited to see Mallet, but I'm really scared of getting spoilers. So, can you tell me some stuff without too much spoilers, or?
Yeah. Basically, it's about a kid that's faced with a decision: be a man or be afraid. And I always tell people, they say, "What is it like if you had to compare it?" I said, "Well, just imagine if Home Alone, Friday the 13th, The Nightmare on Elm Street had a baby, and then Rob Zombie directed it. It's got
Oh
those
wow!
vibes. It's like I put all those little flavors in a pot, and I didn't even really know that until I watched it myself, and I said, "Wow, I feel the elements of all those things." So it's about a kid, man, that he's got to be home alone for the night, and he's had these nightmares that have been tormenting him, and in his nightmares, there's a tormentor, and the guy's name is Mallet. And it just so happens that these dreams have become a reality. So now it just so happens that on this special night, he's home alone. He's gotta deal with these dreams that are now a real thing. These
Oh
nightmares.
wow!
Yeah.
And it's got a witch. I saw that. I'm really stoked. Always love seeing a witch.
Yeah, man. It's got a witch. It's got so much room for growth that I purposely, the way I wrote the script, the way I put it together was like, okay, I think this is gonna go further than a part one. I can see it. I can see it going for like maybe the next 10 years, man. Like it's really got
Right.
something special. I see some people. All right, so Deke, big shout out to my buddy Deke. Big shout out to Straight Jacket, man. He really was our third part.
Yeah, Straight Jacket is such a huge help to my channel and everything. That's a dope storyline. I can't wait. Hey, brother Jody, I do paranormal and randonautica. It's the weather. Oh no. We are having bad storms in both our areas right now. Oh no, man, I'm so sorry to hear that. Jody is the best. Totally. I agree. I can't wait to get my signed Mallet DVD. And here, let me put a banner up real quick. Everybody be sure and go to www.malletmovie.com and pre-order your DVD of Mallet. We looked at the trailer tonight. It was awesome. Man, thank you.
Of course, man. Thank you for having me again, and you look awesome, by the way, dude. I love the look.
So, what was your best horror experience that you can never forget?
Best horror experience that you can never forget. Um, I was like 10 years old, and I was watching Psycho, the original Psycho,
Great
and
movie.
it was late at night. I think it was probably about midnight, and right when it was getting to the good stuff in the film, all of a sudden I heard noise on my front porch, and there was actually somebody trying to break in while I was watching Psycho at 10 years old, home alone.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, it's kind of like Mallet.
mine would be watching Dawn of the Dead 78 with my dad. That was I really that had a big influence on me. What is the problem with modern horror movies?
um, you know, I don't like Hollywood horror movies as much as I like no budget, low budget horror films.
That's where I'm at too.
I mean, they're cool. There's elements of them that are pretty amazing, with like effects and stuff. It's not that I hate them. It's just that, I, I've got to see with making my own movie now too. But I love watching something where I say, okay, they didn't have everything on a silver platter. They had to be creative and unique, and that's
Yeah.
where some originality comes out, man, is when you just have to say, how can we make this really good since we don't have the money to make it really good? So
yeah, and it's people who are just like trying to break even or like pay their bills or whatever. I'd much rather support that than some like Hollywood cocaine pool party or whatever, you know.
true. Yeah. No, absolutely, man. And you know, with Mallet, I did every job myself, so I didn't have to pay a bunch of people. Like I paid my actors. You know, I had to pay for certain things. A lot of my expense came after the movie was made, with manufacturing, copyrights, trademarks, you know, things that you have to do behind the scenes. Um, but as far as the movie goes itself, man, I got really lucky by learning all these different jobs, and when it came time, just being able to do them. So, you know, I could see a movie like Mallet totally costing in the hundreds of thousands to make. You know,
Did you go through a distributor or did you do it yourself that job as well?
so see, that's a great question. So as of right now, I'm Dean's Haunted Mansion LLC is not only the studio behind the film, which is my business, which is me, but it's also the distributor, man. I've been making my own deals with people. I've been paying, getting it in the film festivals, getting it seen across the world, and a lot of the film festivals are starting to nominate this month and next month. So we're going to really know where Mallet stands across the world. You know, it was nominated in Germany.
Oh, wow. From concept to filming, how long did it take to get your vision to film?
Um, Honestly, probably about a year. And there was some preparation in there, but a lot of that was just, you know, trying to mentally prepare to spend the next 6 months making a film. So it took about a year to mentally prepare. You know, I spent probably a week making the mask, the costume for Mallet, the ground up. I did everything from the ground, and yeah, man, I wrote it, and about a year later, we were filming it. It took 6 months to make.
Nice. That's a good turnaround. I think I got one more question for you.
Okay.
In your opinion, what makes a good twist ending in a horror movie?
I love it when a good twist is when whatever you think is going to happen doesn't happen, and whatever does happen leaves you in suspense wanting more. Because
Yeah.
you know, the cool thing about horror films is they can become a franchise so easily if they're just done to where you can connect with people. And when I was writing the script, I was conscious of that the whole time. I said, I want this film to connect with people, man. I want them to connect with Mallet. I want them to feel sympathetic to Mallet, which is crazy because he's a murdering machine.
Yeah.
But there's an element of you in there that's like, I kind of feel sorry for this sick fuck, you know? I love him, I hate him, but I want to see him do it again. Keep killing motherfuckers. So yeah, I think that's the best kind of horror film where it ends off and you're like, wait, what the fuck? Now I gotta wait for another one.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. Great answer. And thanks so much, man. I really appreciate you doing this interview.
Oh yeah, we're not done, are we?
Well, I do have one more question.
Okay.
Do you like British horror films?
Yeah, yeah, I do. I'm seeing a lot of them that I don't realize they're British at first, you know? Like I start watching them and I'm like, that dude's a Brit, that girl's a Brit. I check them out and I'm like, wow, this is a British director I've never heard of. And it it ends up that a lot of films I end up liking just happen to be produced by our good old, you know, Britain friends. But even Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey. Like, I don't know if you got to see it
I
yet.
haven't seen it yet.
Oh my God. Um, great horror film, great twist on a childhood story. So yeah, I love what our UK friends are doing, our Australian people. Man, they're killing
I,
it overseas.
I was always scared of the Hammer movies from the 70s when I was a kid because they had pink blood. The blood was always like this pink color, and it just
Yeah.
really freaked me out as a kid.
That's funny you say that, man. I've noticed um when I'm watching some of the 80s horror films, uh their take on blood was so weird in some of those, you know?
Yeah, but like for the fantasy element, I don't know, something about it just totally unnerved me. And if you want to keep going, I do have more questions.
Yeah, hey, let's kick it, dude. We don't it doesn't matter to me. I'm here. I planned on hanging out with you for an hour or two, so
Right on. What do you think are the key elements of a successful horror movie?
well for me, it's definitely it's gotta the story has to make sense, but it's got to have blood, it's got to have gore, it's got to have unique kills. But I love something that feels 80ish. Like even if it's not an 80s film, if you are modernizing it, make me feel like I'm watching an 80s horror film in some aspect. Could be the lighting, what kind of camera you film it with, what kind of color correction you do, or music you score it with. But I love when I was watching House of the Dead last night for like my 100th time,
Uh,
and there's elements of that film that are very modernized, but then there's sometimes where you're like, whoa, it feels like an 80s, horror film with better looking zombies. So I love that, man. I love that element. But definitely blood, gore, and a good kill count is in the bag for me.
yeah, I would totally agree. And Van Wayward says, how long did the copyright phase take and trademarking? How many times did you have to apply copyrights?
Well, luckily, copyrights and trademarking is something I've been dealing with ever since I was in my early teens, because I've been doing music my entire life. It didn't really take hardly any time at all. It took a few months for the copyright, took 6 months for the trademark, and it was only applying one time for both. I had it in the bag because I'm very particular, man. When I create something, I try and make sure that it stays original beginning to end. If I even do a song, it's hard to make a song and stay original. Like everybody uses a G chord, everybody uses an A or a D at some point.
Yeah.
But I'm really conscious of things like that. So I usually have no issue copywriting music or motion pictures.
Right on. Maximilian in the house.
What's up, Max? Wayward, thank you for that. Straight Jacket, my boy.
And Maximilian says, keep him on. To date, how many copies of Mallet have you sold?
As of this morning, 2,311.
Wow, that is
Yeah.
incredible. I ordered last night and I can't wait to see it.
Dude, I seen that come in late last night, man. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. I'm gonna make sure that on your copy, I'm actually gonna. Would you like it if I sign it to Mormo?
Yeah, definitely. I would appreciate
Okay.
that.
All right. Yeah, I'll do that. We can't do that for everybody. It's just so much signing. Usually, what it's doing is I'll sign my name, Jace will sign his, Mallet will do his, and there's some people that had special requests, but I'll make sure I put it to Mormo's on. So
Yeah, just last night I was signing art cards. I sell art cards, and it's a lot of work, man, doing all that signing. And my hand was started going shaking and going crazy. And
that's awesome, dude. Yeah, no, it does take a lot. We did it for 2 or 3 hours one night, and I said, "Man," I was like, "I'm tired. Are we almost done?" And she said, "No, we've got like 700 more to do."
Justine says, "Hey Jody, I love your raps."
Oh, Justine, thank you so much. I really appreciate that. And Deke, thank you, man. That means a lot, brother. Actually, Deke, he had a small role in the film. He played a drunk guy, and he did really well.
Right on. Yeah, we had him. I had him on earlier. He was talking about your haunted house too, and
oh, cool.
we showed the trailer for Mallet and the trailer for your haunted house, and they just look so incredible, man. Both of them.
Man, thank you. You know what's interesting about that trailer for the haunted house is I went over there one night with my iPhone and I just shot that really quick. I mean, we didn't put much effort in. I think we probably spent 45 minutes there, and then the next day I put it together and I was like, holy shit, it don't look that bad.
Yeah, it looked awesome. I that's some of my fondest memories are working in haunted houses as an actor. I always loved that.
Yeah.
Except when kids would shoot lasers in my eyes. That I didn't like that part. I love your shirt and cap. You looking good, Justine says.
Oh, thank you. I I had one hell of a busy day today. Not that anybody wants to know that, but man, today was a crazy one. I was filming, I was editing, I was filming some more. I was picking up barrels for the haunted mansion for the zombie maze and doing some building over there. So I tried to make it just in time. And I said, oh my God, my phone clock and my truck clock were different. So
Oh, no.
I was like, I'm late to this stream. No.
And then the weather too. I understand.
Yeah.
Weather and Scaranoias TV says you are amazing.
That's the wife right there. Yeah, she's pretty amazing too, man. She was very supportive of the movie process. I think in the beginning she thought to herself, like, you know, I just hope it's everything you want it to be. And that was a big thing, was like she knows I dream huge. And I think she worries about me letting myself down because mentally, you know, I can be pretty hard on myself. But when this movie was finished, dude, I would say, fuck yeah, we finally got one, motherfuckers.
Nice. That's awesome.
Yeah.
How do you think horror movies have evolved over the years?
Oh man. You know, one thing that I really love seeing is somebody takes somebody else's really cool idea, but then make it 10 times cooler. So like I'm starting to see horror films where you know, like this kill looks so familiar, but the way this person does is just like 10 times better than the person that did it 5 years ago. And I think people are doing that, man, pretty religiously. Like they're taking like some of the most epic moments throughout horror history and they're just redoing them in such a way to where you're like, I don't know, Mr. Scorsese, you know, like you're the shit, but guess what, man? There's some new sheriffs in town. So I love that, man. I think that's the evolving I'm seeing is people build off what's been done, but doing it better, bigger, and gorier. I love gore. I love a lot of fucking blood, bro. And Mallet Part 2, I guarantee you, we're going to spill about 100 gallons of fucking blood.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Which horror movie, in your opinion, is the most terrifying and why?
Wow. Okay. That's a good one. Who asked this one?
This is a question I got from Cora.
Okay. All right. Cora, that's a good one. Well, I'll say this. I don't know if you're familiar with Cabin Fever.
From Eli Roth?
Yeah, but I think what is so scary to me about that is like that shit could really happen, and it has happened. Like we've seen that in the past, like people's water contaminated and they get cancer. They knowing that something can be like really, really can happen is like let's face it, when we watch a Ouija board movie and the girls are playing the Ouija board, then all of a sudden they're hovering 10 feet above the board, they get thrown against the wall, they're foaming black out of the mouth. Like, it's like, come on. But like when you think about it, like you could drink some contaminated water and start disintegrating from the inside out. So I really think that Cabin Fever for me is one of those films to where when I watch it, I'm like, ooh. And it's weird because it doesn't have any demons in it or any scary killers, really. It's water. Water's scary, bro. And think about it, man. I mean, my mom dated this guy when I was younger from Mexico. And he said that if I were to come to Mexico and drink the water, I would probably die within 24 hours. But people that are born and raised there are so used to it that they can do it. That's scary, man. That's bad, So for me, Cabin Fever, and I would say Wrong Turn, because that's also a situation to where I can't tell you how many times I've taken a wrong turn and I said, Alicia, we're gonna fucking die tonight. We're gonna die. So you can end up in some places just by a stupid little mistake or your GPS not working, and next thing you know, you're getting cornholed up against a tree.
Jacket says, I love Cabin Fever. The party cop had me dying.
Ooh, she was so badass, bro. The girl, the woman that played the party cop, she was killer, bro. In fact, I'm gonna fucking reach out to that chick and see if we can get her in Mallet too. How about that?
That'd be awesome. Son of Maniac says, what do you think of Texas Chainsaw Massacre Remake 2003?
I love it. I don't think there's one of the Texas Chainsaws that I don't like, but I think the 2003 remake definitely is one of my favorite Texas Chainsaws, for sure. I watched the original just 2 nights ago, man, the very first one, and I said, damn, they've really come so far with the exaggerations of this character, and I think it just gets better and better.
Totally. Deke says, I believe you will spill that much blood, brother.
Yeah. Mallet too, bro. I'm calling it right now. 100 gallons of blood. In the first film, there's some blood, but it ain't nothing compared to what I wanted to do and what I plan to do in the future. I had to work 10 different jobs in Mallet 1: filming, editing, lighting, directing, doing special effects, makeup, and that ain't including the things behind the scene, editing, doing music. So I didn't have the opportunity to do everything I wanted to do with like gore and blood, and I know how to do some cool shit. I can rig your neck up, dude, to where it's shooting across the room. When you get gassed, and I wasn't able to do a few things that I really wanted to. So in Mallet Part 2, I don't care if I have to hire like a crew of 5, I'm getting it done.
For sure. Well, Part 1 was kind of like a proof of concept where you have a good plan to have a successful movie and everything. So
yes, sir.
And Straight Jacket says blood is beautiful. Hey Jody, what kind of camera did y'all use?
For filming Mallet, I used mainly the Canon 7D. I used a few different cameras, but I tried to stick with my main camera, the Canon 7D. I shot a short film with it about 15 years ago, and I loved it. I loved the way the footage looks so cinematic, so rich, so deep, and then when you color correct it, it's fucking comparable to $10,000, $15,000 cameras. Like this, like just from watching the trailer, would you assume that I filmed it with a DSLR camera?
No, it looked very polished and pro to me, especially the lighting and everything. The way the camera captured the lighting and everything looks very pro to me.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, I thought so too, man. And the Mallet Part 2 is going to be shot on a little bit more of an expensive camera. It's a new camera that was just approved by Netflix. It's like close to $5,000. But that's what you do, man. You make a film, and then in the next one you step up, and then you step up again. And we just don't ever want to. I don't ever want to step up so much to where these films look too Hollywood. I won't ever do that. Like, you're never gonna see me shoot a Mallet film with $100,000 camera. That will not happen. I promise you.
Yeah, one question I had was, were you influenced by like Romero and Creepshow at all? The trailer kind of seems like a little bit of a Creepshow vibe.
I love those. I love Romero. I love Creepshow. I don't think you're gonna find anybody, in the horror arena that I'm not somewhat of a fan of.
Right
But
on.
I will say this. I feel like I have my own style. And I think the way that people will notice that is in a lot of horror films, there's a lot of air to breathe. There's a lot of dead time. There's a lot of dead space where nothing's happening. In a Jody S. Dean film, you will not get that. You are going to constantly notice the tempo going, staying the same, but it's never going to drop off to where you're kind of like, man, is it going to pick up? What's going to happen? Like, even if it's not a super intense kill scene, like I found a way to keep a rhythm just like I do with my songs. I think people are going to see it. But who I am inspired by, Adam Green, who made Hatchet, Damian Leon, who made Terrifier, Rob Zombie, the motherfucking zombie, bro, who did House of a Thousand Corpses is one of my favorite horror films of all time.
Me too.
Love that film. I've watched it 20 times this year. It's one of those films where if I'm laying at bed at night and I'm like, I don't know what to watch, let's just watch House of a Thousand Corpses. But also Wrong Turn, man. Like, I'm the biggest Wrong Turn and Silent Hill fan you will ever meet. Those are my favorites. Wrong Turn, Silent Hill, Rob Zombie films. So, if I am inspired by anything, it's definitely them.
Right on. Jody says, you look cool, Mormo. Thank you so much. Or Justine says, you look cool, Mormo. Thank you so much, Justine. Believe it or not, next year will be 20 years as Mormozine with the makeup and everything.
I love it, bro. I do. I was thinking a little bit ago, I was like, does this dude have a king's crown upside down? How fucking brilliant. Yeah, dude, I love it, bro.
Awesome. Thank you. Justine says, my son's playing Chainsaw Massacre right now. LOL.
What a good kid. Tell him I said hi.
Man, this fucking real shit, man. Mormo and Jody, thank you. Stay tuned guitars. Would I be able to purchase a Mallet soundtrack?
Yeah, it's funny, dude. I've been slacking on that, but I do have I have the intention to put the Mallet album on iTunes and have it drop hopefully on October 31st as well, but I haven't been promoting that. So I'm going to put it out there to people. I'll be honest with you. I don't anticipate the soundtrack doing as good as the DVD, but I think that, there's only one or two, well, 2, 3, 4. There's only 4 or 5 songs out of 15 that actually have lyrics on them in the movie. So I'm one of those people, dude. I can buy a Silent Hill soundtrack and listen to it from the time I wake up till I go to bed, and it's just sounds. There's no vocals. But a lot of people, man, I noticed that they got to have some words. So I don't know how good that will do, but it will be available to the public.
That's dope, Straight Jacket says.
Thanks, brother. I appreciate you, man.
What do you think separates a great horror movie from a mediocre one?
Excuse me. A great horror movie from a mediocre one. Well, you know, I think a mediocre one for me is where you can tell that they're just trying to get through the process of making a movie. I notice a lot of horror films I watch that are indie horror films. Seems like they lost their creativity at some point, and it's like, hey, let's just get this done. We're engulfed in it now. Everybody's ready to go home. In a great horror film, you feel the creativity and the love and the passion from the beginning to the end. Like, hey, we care about our freaking movie. And there was many days, dude, where I was tired or had a lot going on, and I said, dude, I don't want to film today, but this is my baby, so I'm gonna give it 110. And I feel that shit in music. I feel it in movies, bro. And with a horror film, you definitely can feel it. There's some horror films that start out great. They get you in the first 5 minutes, but then all of a sudden after that intro, bro, it's like, what the fuck happened? What am I watching? You know? And then some movies pick up towards the end, which is crazy, bro, because most people, if that movie doesn't keep you hooked, they're gone. They click off of it. So if you have a good ending, somebody might not never know, man. You got to keep the passion there.
Yeah, some of the A24 films have like strong horror movie endings, but they're kind of just like artsy fartsy for the majority of the film, you know?
So true. Yeah. Yeah, that's weird, isn't it? I mean, they're not easy to make, bro. I mean, even super low, no budget indie horror films are very hard to make. It's time consuming, it's passion driven. So I mean, I don't know, man. I'll never start anything that I'm not gonna, see through to the end 100.
Totally. How do you approach watching horror movies? Are there any specific techniques you use to immerse yourself in the experience?
Yeah. I love my family and we love watching horror films together. So I love getting everybody on the couch, man, together and turning off the lights and really trying to everybody get in it and see what we all love about it, and we talk about it. It's almost like we're critics ourselves because we do this so much, 3 or 4 nights a week, man. We might only have an hour and a half at night to spend with each other before it's time to go to bed. We're watching a fucking horror movie, bro.
That's awesome.
So last night the kids had never seen House of the Dead, and they were like, wow, this is really crazy. This is based off the video game. And I said, well, yeah, there's elements of the video game there for sure. And they just couldn't believe how cool this movie was. Meanwhile, I think it came out early 2000s, and it's ahead of its time, bro. Like some of the effects, some of the camera angles. If you guys haven't seen that movie, man, go back and watch it. It's such a great film, but they kind of buried it in history. So
I'll watch it again for sure. I think tonight I'm gonna watch The Pope's Exorcist.
Great film. Yeah.
That's what Deke was saying, and it's been on my list for a couple of weeks now. So
yeah, when I watched that movie, bro, I was really impressed with it. And my family kind of was on the other side of it, like, it was okay. And I don't know if it's that I'm a huge Russell Crowe fan or not, but I feel like he executed it very well. I feel like there's so many movies out there where people are getting possessed and there's like demon shit happening that it's got to stick out and feel different, man, nowadays. And I felt like it accomplished that. Like there are some special effects where it gets really Hollywood towards the end.
Yeah.
But they're not bad. Like they're good, but it's enough for you to say, "Oh shit, there's where the money went."
Yeah, at least they had an A-list act. They had like an A-list actor, right?
Right. Yep. Absolutely. But I love Russell, man. Fucking Gladiator.
Yeah, he's great. I'm gonna check that out tonight for sure. Normally, I just watch Troma now because I'm kind of similar to you. I prefer like low budget, not filmed in Hollywood stuff, and it's
Yeah.
just such an advantage to me because like I can review a no budget movie and maybe I'm the only person who reviewed it, and then I get all those views on my channel, and then also like the filmmakers will reach out to me and become friends with me and stuff because the on the lower budgets they actually care what I think, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, yeah, absolutely, man. I mean, dude, I care what everybody thinks that cares about the film world, and music too, because even if it's good or if it's bad, it's awesome to hear people's opinions. I mean, for years, when I see a movie coming out that I'm excited about, I'll go to see what the critics are saying about it, and they'll tear a film apart that when I watch, I'm in love with, and I'm like, I don't see what the fuck you're talking about. They ripped GI Joe Snake Eyes apart. It just came out like a few years ago, and I remember I was so excited that GI Joe had a Snake Eyes movie because I love GI Joe, and when I heard Snake Eyes was coming out, I was excited, and I read all these reviews, and they said it's a terrible movie. Don't go and see it. Poor acting, poor this. I watched that movie and I was blown away. I was like, what the fuck? Like, this is amazing.
wow.
So, even if they have something bad to say, most of the time they get it wrong.
For sure. And I'm a very positive person. I'm give almost everything a positive review. I gave this movie called Chicken Dinner Restaurant. I gave it a bad review and then it got like 900 views. Again, I was the only one who reviewed it, so
Well, it's okay. You don't want everybody telling you that everything is fucking good because that's a lie. Like I said, I've produced some films before that you guys will never see. A lot of heart and soul went into them, but I just wasn't ready yet. Like when I say that, I'm holding my expectations right here. Like, okay, if this is the one fucking film that's going to put me on the map and I'm going to let people see it, it's got to be at this caliber right here. And Mallet, it made it, man. But there's other films that I produced that will never come out. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I've got some shit in the vault, bro.
How come you don't want them released? Or
So everything I do, Mormo, I'm self-taught, right? I'm self-taught and using a camera, self-taught in lighting, self-taught in writing, directing. But I'm a great listener, watcher, observer, and I pick shit up, right? But when I made a feature film years ago, and I won't mention the name of it, but when I made this feature film years ago, it wasn't a terrible idea. It wasn't a bad script. The acting wasn't horrible. I wasn't great at working a camera, at framing, at scoring. I was okay at scoring the music. That went bad. The lighting was terrible. The framework was horrible. And when the movie was done, I was so excited I had completed a movie. But then I watched it and I was like, I ain't showing this to nobody. I'm burying it. And I did, man. And nobody's ever seen it.
yeah, that's the hardest part of making movies is watching them. For me, I know.
Yeah. I've watched Mallet 50 fucking times, bro, and there's not once that I've said, you know what? I'm like, okay, dude. Yeah, I love it. This is good.
That's great. Awesome. I can't wait to get it. And everybody, let me put up a banner real quick. Oh no.
I seen Son of the Maniac said, I can't stomach the movie I Spit on Your Grave. I skipped the scene of her, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, what's interesting, dude, is I absolutely love that movie, but I love movies that really can mess with you mentally, emotionally. I think that's the same reason that people go skydiving. It's the same reason that some people, do certain things. is to get that rush. And even though there's elements in that movie that I can definitely understand, that like that's one of those horror films that it's like that's a staple in the horror film community. Like, wow, there's no monster, there's no demon, there's just evil people.
Yeah.
And that shit's so effective, bro. It goes back to the concept of cabin fever with the water. The water was the demon. So
you're back.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got a story. When I was a kid, my dad would show us R-rated movies. My parents split up when I was born, and I'd visit my dad. I could see R-rated movies, but that was the one movie he wouldn't show me and my stepsister. Was
wow.
I Spit on Your Grave? Yeah.
Yeah, no, it definitely is one of those films. Let me grab something real quick. Hold on, bear with me a second.
Okay.
Oh, those are all sealed up, aren't they? I got thousands of DVDs sitting by me in here that are all sealed up. So, after I finished filming the movie, submitting for copyright, I started figuring out how I wanted to package this thing. And I had reached out to a graphics designer that's done the covers for over 100 plus Hollywood movie studios that are huge movies, some of them blockbusters. And I reached out to this guy and I said, what can you do for me? What do you want to charge me? And he said, well, to do your DVD cover and the spine and the back, he said, you're looking at about $2,300. It'll take me about 3 weeks. And he made a mock-up without me paying him or anything. He didn't ask for a deposit. He said, if you don't like it, I don't expect you to pay me and I don't expect you to get it. He said, how about I do a test and see what you think? Well, he did this test, man, and I seen it, and I wasn't moved at all. I was just like, I don't want that to be it. So I designed this myself, man. There we go.
Nice.
I did everything that you see here.
Right on. Looks awesome.
And I tried to make it feel like an 80s horror cover even. Like, not only is the film got like a little bit of an 80s feel to it, but like I tried to capture that in the cover as well.
Yeah, it looks incredible, man. Great job.
Thank you. So yeah, that's my baby. So
yeah, it's been awesome. Again, I really appreciate you taking the time to speak with me and everything, and especially considering like the storms and stuff. And
yeah, man,
that's awesome.
I've enjoyed it, brother. I've heard nothing but good things about you, and I checked out a few things, and I seen that you're supporting and supportive of what I'm doing, and I seen your order come through last night, and yeah, I appreciate it, dude. Honestly.
Right on. Well, everybody go to malletmovie.com and pre-order your copy, and it'll get there before Halloween or around Halloween. Or
yeah, man, we're gonna shoot it out to all the people who pre-ordered a little bit early. I think they're gonna be happy. I think they're gonna be impressed. We're gonna make sure that everybody gets it at least a week before it drops. So you guys are going to have a whole week to, see it before everybody else, review it, do things like talk about it. Like, yeah, it's going to be pretty fucking cool.
That's awesome, man. Thanks so much, Jody. Have a great night, everybody.
Thank you, Mormo. I appreciate you, buddy.